When my mother flew down to help my dad find a house, she left us with my grandmother, the kind of woman who made childhood feel like a minefield. We were braced for a weekend of insults and control. Instead, we turned the tables. By Sunday afternoon, Grammy was the one who left in a hurry, and she didn't even look back. Pause. Let curiosity sit. Stick around. This is the kind of small, perfect revenge that only siblings can pull off. If you love stories where the underdog gets the last laugh, hit like and subscribe. And if you ever had a family member make life miserable, wait until you hear how we handled ours. No violence, no damage, just pure sibling justice. The move and the warning signs. This happened more than 30 years ago, when my siblings and I were in middle and high school. Picture late spring, boxes half-packed in our parent house, the nervous hum of a family about to split across states. My dad moved south months ahead for a new job. The plan was we'd finish the school year up north, so the move wasn't rushed. It felt, strangely, like the calm before the wind. My mother flew down to help Dad find a place. She didn't want to leave us alone for the weekend, so she did what some people do out of habit or guilt. She called her mother, my grandmother, who we called Grammy, to come stay. But Grammy wasn't Grammy. She was the kind of person who collected favorites and leftovers like trophies. She was sharp-tongued, emotionally cruel, and, if I'm honest, narcissistic in a way that made every interaction feel like a test we'd already failed. She'd been abusive to my mother growing up. Verbal blows, cold silences, a hand that sometimes went too far. Our early childhoods had been carefully guarded from her for a reason. So yes, we were nervous. We expected a weekend of micro-criticisms and big, dramatic sighs. We braced. We prepared. We made contingency plans. The arrival. Control wrapped in a smile. Grammy arrived with the perfect suburban smile and a suitcase that smelled faintly of mothballs and lavender. She sat like a judge at the kitchen table, arms folded, eyes cataloging everything we did. The way we slouched, the way we laughed too loud, the half-empty bowl on the counter. She had favorites. She had non-favorites. I was in the latter category. She had a way of picking at me. Comments that started as harmless and landed as cuts. "Oh, you still wear that? You always were a bit slow." Little prods that were meant to wind me up and then watch for the reaction. But here's the thing. My mother had raised us differently. She taught us to be kind to each other, to protect each other, and we had each other's backs. So as soon as the door closed behind our mother and Grammy settled in with her cup of coffee and her tiny notebook of passive critiques, we started a plan. Not exactly a plan, more like a pact. We would make this weekend as miserable for Grammy as she probably planned to make for us. Not violent, not destructive, just creative, petty, and relentless in the kind of way only siblings can be. The tactics: small lies, big attitude. First rule: don't break the law, don't damage property, and don't tell on each other. We were old enough to know the boundaries. We were young enough to be mischievous within them. So we lied. We told Grammy my brother was allowed to swing on the half door to the backyard. We told her we were permitted to watch an R-rated movie. Old VHS, quality fuzzy, the kind of movie adults like to pretend we don't understand. Every time Grammy tried to needle me, my siblings jumped in. They corrected her tone in the way younger siblings know how to. Sharp, immediate, and disarming. We used timing. When she went to the bathroom, we turned up the stereo. When she announced dinner at 6, we pretended we hadn't heard and kept playing a board game until she stomped down in annoyance. We fed her conversations with exaggerated innocence. But our pranks weren't chaotic. They were calibrated. The aim was to derail her performance as the omnipotent critic, to show her that the household she expected to dominate had boundaries she couldn't cross. We let her feel the friction of being the outsider for once, the moments that built the pressure. One night, she started in on me about my grades, small jabs, slow and precise. My chest tightened. My hands went cold. I could feel the old shame she wanted to reawaken, the one I'd felt as a child under her sharp words. My sister didn't let it stand. "That's enough, Grammy. Back off." It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic, but it was public. And when two more voices joined in, my brothers and my other sisters, the mystery of power shifted. She tried to laugh it off, but you could see the calculations behind her eyes. She was having to work harder for the satisfaction she usually took for free. Her little jabs began to land on different targets. On us, quickly deflecting, and those tiny cracks multiplied. We didn't gloat. We just showed up as a unit. Playful, annoying, normal. That normality is what undid her. The Sunday exit. Payback without blood. By Sunday afternoon, Grammy had it. She hadn't expected resistance. She hadn't expected us to be synchronized in defense of each other. The weekend that was supposed to be her victory lap, where she could correct and scold and micromanage, had become quietly unbearable for her. When my mother returned, she saw the signs. The house looked the same but felt different, like a room that had been rearranged while you were out. Grammy met my mother in the driveway, barely spoke, and then she sped off. Not a quiet leave, an abrupt, heavy-footed exit, like someone trying to outrun their own anger. My mother came in, smiling with relief, and asked us what had happened. We all sat on the couch, looked as innocent as day-old milk, and shrugged. What did you do to her? My mother asked, eyes trying to be stern but failing because she already knew. We stuck to our story. Innocent, angelic, perfect kids who had politely invited an elderly woman over and served her tea. My mother laughed. That laugh, part disbelief, part pride, felt like the best kind of absolution. She admitted later she'd been nervous about leaving us with Grammy, but was secretly thrilled we'd handled it. We didn't get punished. We didn't gloat publicly. But for a while after, Grammy avoided family gatherings like she'd been scorched. The real payoff wasn't the exit. It wasn't a confrontation or a scream. It was a shift in the room, the weight that lifted when we realized we weren't small anymore. We had each other. We were a unit that said no to cruelty, even if that no came as petty lies and turned up music. And there was something morally clean about it. We didn't humiliate her unnecessarily. We didn't stoop to the same level of cruelty she'd shown our mother. Instead, we reclaimed our space with laughter, unity, and just enough disobedience to make her rethink her power. So what's the lesson here? Sometimes revenge doesn't need grand gestures. Sometimes it'll weaken a small refusals, a chorus of little resistances that together are louder than any single insult. Protect the people you love. Stand together. And remember, you can be petty and kind at the same time. Grammy taught us how not to treat people. We taught her that time, for once, the kids weren't the easy targets.